By the early 300s, the Roman Empire stretched across 3 continents, from Armenia to the barbarian lands of Britannia. For centuries, Rome had lived under the protection of its gods, the divine order that guided its wars and its laws. After the Emperor Constantine's conversion to Christianity, it gained legal status and fastly spreading across eastern part of empire. And then came Julian, raised a Christian, secretly pagan. When he became emperor, he tried to turn Rome back to its old gods. For 2 brief years, the empire stood between 2 worlds, tradition and change. This is a story of how Rome almost went back to paganism. Julian was born in Constantinople, the city his uncle Constantine had built as the capital of Christian empire. His childhood was marked by blood and fear. After Constantine's death, his cousin Constantius ordered the murder of Julian's father and several relatives to secure the throne. Julian and his brother Gallus were spared only because they were children. Exiled to Cappadocia, Julian was raised under strict Christian supervision. But his isolation turned him inwards, to books, to philosophy, and old stories of Greece.
My work focuses on the decline of paganism in Europe and subsequently in the rest of the world, and the ascent of Christianity and Islam, monotheistic religions. Julian was brought up in a Christian environment, but he had pagan teachers to instruct him. He was attracted to the pagan philosophies and their theologies, and he also saw what was happening around him, like Constantine and Constantius was brutally murdering the family, which is not at all what Christianity claims to be, right? Or you can't say love thy neighbor on the one hand and murder your own family, right? So that hypocrisy also might have bothered him, I believe.
In 355 CE, the empire faced attacks on 2 fronts, Persia in the east and pagan Germanic tribes in the west. Emperor Constantius, needing help but not a rival, appointed Julian as a Caesar and sent him to Gaul, expecting him to fail and die. But Julian learned quickly. Drawing from the works of Caesar's Gallic wars, he led from the front, sharing his soldiers' hardships, earning their loyalty. He defeated the Franks and Alemanni, restored Roman order, and became a hero among the legions. Constantius grew jealous of Julian's success when he ordered Julian's best troops to leave for the east, and they mutinied, declaring Julian as an emperor in Paris. A civil war was inevitable, but Constantius died en route to war. At 30, Julian became sole ruler of Rome, the philosopher who never sought power, now sitting on the imperial throne. Julian wasted no time declaring his beliefs as pagan. He reopened pagan temples and restored state funding for sacrifices, not to protect Christians, but to dilute their dominance. He revoked the church's tax exemptions and returned temple wealth that had been seized by Christian emperors. He knew faith wasn't just about rituals, it was about education and power. So he banned Christian teachers from using pagan authors like Homer and Plato. Julian argued that people who denied old gods shouldn't benefit from their work. It was a clever way of pushing Christianity out of Rome's intellectual life without persecution. He called Christians as Galileans and wrote Against the Galileans, a book defending pagan philosophy and reason.
Galilean is actually a slur against, to refer to Christians, because Jesus' place Galilee was literally nothing. No prophet came from that place, nothing great happened from that place. Calling Christians as Galileans make that identity insignificant. In this work against the Galileans, the first argument is that the God that the Christians worship cannot be the God of the entire world, because he revealed himself only to the 12 tribes of Israel. He sent prophets only to the nation of Israel. He sent revelations only to the nation of Israel. And even Jesus, he sent only to the nation of Israel, whereas other nations did not know about this God at all. And the second thing that he argues is that unlike Judaism, which is an ethnic religion, a new religion was demanding converts from everybody in the world. Julian says it's not good. And the third thing that he argues is everybody should follow their own ancestral customs.
Julian knew Christianity's strength was organization. It had bishops, charity networks, and moral disciplines, things paganism lacked. So, he tried to build a pagan equivalent, appointing priests, organizing temples, and ordering priests to take care of the poor. But it didn't work.
Pagans were not used to being centrally controlled like that. The thing about paganism itself, it's a collection of multiple identities, each living in its own well-defined territory.
For Julian, reviving the pagan temples was deeply personal. He wanted the old gods to live again, not as symbols, but in temples filled with incense, music, sacred rituals, and sacrifice. One of his first decrees reopened shrines across the empire and restored state funding for rituals, ordering pagan festivals to return in all the former glory. Julian then made solemn pilgrimage to ancient temples of Apollo at Daphne, near the Christian populated city of Antioch. He was on his way to war and expected to find a vibrant, living faith, a crowd, an oracle, and splendid ceremonies. Instead, he found silence. The temple, which his uncle Constantine had defiled years earlier, was essentially dead. Julian found only one elderly priest who could offer a goose as a sacrifice. Profoundly disappointed, Julian ordered the nearby Christian church to be moved and the sacred site ritually cleansed. But within days, the temple of Apollo burned to the ground. Fire destroyed the building and a famous gold and ivory statue of the god. Naturally, the suspicion fell on the Christians of Antioch. It was a symbolic blow to Julian's effort to revive paganism. Christians called it divine justice. Shortly after leaving the Temple of Daphne, Julian died during his Persian campaign. The philosopher king died on the battlefield, aged only 32. His reign lasted barely 2 years. He was brilliant, idealistic, and utterly out of step with his time. He tried to build a faith in a way that his followers didn't want to follow.
After Julian's death, Julian had created a massive resurgence of paganism, right? So they decided that there is no use attacking them right now. They are very charged. So let things calm down and then later we will attack again. So it is only after Theodosius I ascends to the throne in 379 AD. In this period, we see lots of persecutions. Officially, paganism is made intolerable. Nicene Christianity is made the only official religion of the Roman Empire. And anybody sacrificing to the old gods will be punished, and even temples had to be closed. They did not see it as a clash of religions. They saw it as a clash of politics. They just thought that it's a problem of Christian emperors rather than Christianity itself.
He was the last Roman emperor who truly believed Rome's greatness came from its old gods. Gradually, the old gods went silent, and they are only relevant in the museums today.